You're a man is up and la la la. Okay, hello, and welcome to another podcast. Welcome to the second episode of the Out from India podcast. The Out from India podcast is for people who are thinking of leaving the comfort of their home and traveling to and and moving to a different country, a different city from India. And it has the podcast is about giving information to those people. It's about connecting the people, connecting Indian people living abroad, and it is about giving a platform for people to express themselves, how they feel, the kind of changes they go through, their experiences of living abroad, and also with the podcast, I aim to provide as much information as I can about moving to different countries or about moving to a different country from India and settling there. So it's a very informational podcast for anyone who's thinking of moving to the country. It doesn't matter if you are a student, if you are going to work, or if you are a housemaker, a homemaker, or if you are, child. If you're a child student, I mean, it's for everyone who's thinking of moving to a different country. I myself moved from India to the UK back in 2018 to pursue my masters. And I have been trying to travel the world ever since, but because of the coronavirus, I had to come back to India. So right now I'm in India, and yeah, that's about me. I don't know how to start this podcast. I was supposed to upload this particular episode, the second episode of the podcast, a few weeks ago, but I felt sick, and no, I did not have the coronavirus, but I felt sick. I had a bad cold, and then I got occupied with other things, so I have not been able to record the second video. But today I got the time, and I thought to myself, well, I have the time before I get back to work, so I can record this podcast and put it out there. So okay, so what are we going to talk about today? We are going to talk about your first few days in the university. So this is a podcast that I guess is relevant to, or that is relevant for anyone who has moved to the UK, particularly as a student this year. And the first few months, because it is October, and it is end of October. It's 28 October today, so it's for students, it's for people who have moved to the UK this year, and how you must be feeling, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, what you should expect in the coming months, and how you can sort of tackle with the problems that you're going to face, and the kind of experiences that you might go through. So it's a very, I don't have a very specific topic for this podcast, and I guess that is how the podcasts are going to be. This podcast is going to be just me blabbering about some things. You might find me talking at length about particular things, and you might find me just briefly touching something. So until I have another guest on the podcast, I'm afraid you're going to have to put up with me and listen to me, hear my not so attractive voice. But yeah, so okay, so for people who have moved to the UK this year, I remember when I moved to London in 2018, and I remember October. My birthday was on 20 October, so it's just 8 days have passed. But I remember it was a bit, it was. I had mixed feelings. I had very strange and mixed feelings about moving to a different country, about leaving home, and staying in an absolutely new country and kind of adapting myself to a new culture. So it was sort of it was tough. I mean, tough is a very it's an abused word, because people like to say that yeah, moving to a new country is tough. Well, it is, but then I mean, what kind of tough? Is it tough physically? Is it tough mentally? Is it tough emotionally? Is it tough because you're adapting to a new culture? And then you would expect people to say that, yeah, it's tough in everything. And I agree, it is tough. In October, I remember I was trying to figure out my academic schedule and, I was also looking for a part-time job. I was trying to be as social as I could, being a social introvert, being someone who was very shy and very, who didn't have the courage to kind of go to social events and make friends and interact with new people. So I was kind of battling with my own personality at that point, which was not like what it is today. So yes, it is. It is. I'm guessing if you arrived in the UK in mid-September, then you must have done, the basic things like getting the BRP and, getting the student ID card and all that stuff that you need to sort out. If you haven't done it, you should. And if you're wondering what am I talking about, then I'll link up some articles from a website in the description, so you can have a look at the things that you should do in your first few weeks and months in the UK when you're going as a student. Okay, so my experience about living in the UK in the first few months is different than the experience that you are having, because you have gone to the UK in a time of crisis. People are not allowed to go out. They don't have the social freedom that I personally had when I was in the UK in 2018. And so you are probably feeling bored, you're probably feeling a bit lonely, you're probably feeling if you made the right decision to come to the UK to study this year, and you're probably wondering how things are going to unfold, or how life is going, or what life is going to look like in the coming year. And let me tell you, it's a very natural feeling to have, to feel that, okay, what's going to happen, and what am I going to, what am I going to do, and how am I going to manage? More importantly, I have just been, I've just been asked to stay at home, and the problem would be I guess the people who are living in the UK, and if you have had an instance of coronavirus at your accommodation or where you are living, then probably you have been asked to stay at home, so you can't even go out for the next 14 or 28 days, depending on the quarantining time. So yes, it is a tricky time to be in. Although I wouldn't say, if you're thinking that whether you made the right decision of moving to the UK to study this year, I wouldn't say that you should think about it. I mean, now if you are in the UK and if you have come to study, then don't think about whether you made the right decision, because you have made that decision. It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong anymore, because you have already reached the UK, you have already left home, you are already away from home, you're already away from the comfort of your home. So you shouldn't think about whether you made the right decision. You shouldn't waste your time in thinking about that. Having said that, I don't think you should think that it is a bad decision. With the graduate route being launched this year, it was launched in October this month. So with the graduate route being launched, I don't think that you made the bad decision, because next year, if you're a master's student, then next year you can probably stay in the UK for the next 2 years. So you will essentially be in the UK for the next 3 years. And if you want, you can travel back to India to meet your family and friends and then go back to the UK. So, I guess what you should do at this time in the month of October and in the coming months is sorting out your food. I think that's one of the most important things that you have to do. Understand what what your daily meals should look like. I'm guessing some of you may have been ordering takeaway, or you may have been going out to eat, or you may have been eating at McDonald's, or you may have been buying frozen food at from Tesco or from Sainsbury's and stores like that. But I would strictly advise that you should think about setting for yourself a meal plan that you can follow every day, where you know what you're going to eat for breakfast, you know what you're going to eat for lunch and dinner, so that you have an established plan, so that you don't have to spend a lot of money in buying cooked food from outside, and you also save on time, and you also stay healthy. So I guess food is definitely one thing that I would suggest that you should focus on. And the second thing, I think, is what you must be facing, what you must be facing as a challenge is that you can't go out. Like, I can imagine myself in 2018, if this had happened in 2018, if the coronavirus hit us in 2018, that I would have been shattered. I would have been confused. I would have been lost. I would have felt, okay, what am I going to do now? I don't know what to do. I have absolutely no idea how I should carry things forward. Because I can imagine. I remember when I was when I was in London in 2018. I don't remember having a very good time during the first 3 months, from 16th of September until January next year. That's January 2019. I did not have the best time of my life. I was very I was very shy. I was very unconfident. I was an introvert. I'm still an introvert, but I guess I have a bit of courage, and I can now at least I can go out and talk to people. But when I was in London at that time, I couldn't. So I can imagine myself, if I had gone to the UK this year, being the kind of personality that I have, shy and introvert and not very confident about himself, I would have probably felt very lonely. I would have probably felt very sad with the fact that I can't really do anything. And I guess that is the big problem, that you will face. And you will have to find a way around it. Because, when you go to a new country, for the first few months, you expect that your friends at home and your family at home will be constantly in touch with you. And they are, usually. They like to be in touch with you. They like to, keep the communication open as much as they can. But after a point, you don't really... because of the time difference, because of the difference of situation, because of the difference of circumstances, I'm not sure how much you can rely on your friends and family when it comes to, finding someone to talk to. Obviously, they are always there. I'm sure that your friends and your family are always there to help you, to support you during, all times. But after a point, I think it will be difficult for them to be available 24. They can't be available to you 24/7. If, for instance, you feel a bit sad and lonely at 2 a.m. in the night, you don't expect your family to be awake. What's the time difference? Anyway, so you get the point, right? So it's not going to be easy for you, and that, I guess, is a very big problem. And on top of that, you're probably looking for a part-time job, and you can't get a part-time job at this point because, I'm not sure whether companies are recruiting. There are so many people who have been laid off work. I guess I was reading, I think on The Guardian, that probably 6 million people are out of job. 6 million new out-of-college students are out of job. I think that number would be more, I think that number would be more than 6 million people who are out of job in the UK. So you're probably thinking, wow, I'm out of job, and how can I, support myself? And you're right. It is a tough time. And your university and you must have missed out on the freshers party and, that stuff as well. So you might not have had the chance to go out and meet people at your university. You might not have had the chance to interact with students at your university. So that is again a big problem. Um, and um, what else? And finding a part. I remember that in October there were a lot of career, part-time job career events in my university where I could go and meet with companies and representatives of the companies who were looking for people to work part-time for them. And I had the opportunity to meet with a lot of people and build a sort of a very small network. But you have been deprived of that. Obviously you might be getting those things done online, but things don't, I mean, they don't feel the same online. I don't think that the experience that you have of physically meeting someone in a social setting can be replaced by the same thing online. So that is something that must be troubling you as well. And on top of that, you have to adjust with your flatmates. So um, adjusting with flatmates can be difficult. I have had that experience. It wasn't difficult for me in the first few months because I tried to be as open and I tried to be as approachable, as friendly as I could. But I realized that not everyone is as friendly and not everyone returns, the same kind of love or appreciation that you provide to them. So adjusting with flatmates and kind of understanding where my place was also important, because I thought to myself that now that I'm now that I'm in London and now that I'm living with these people, I kind of started thinking that they're like my family, which was a big mistake. I shouldn't think that they are my family. They are just people that I'm living with. Some of them I can be good friends with, but then there are some limits to the friendship. There are some limits to what I can share with them. There are some limits to what they will share with me, and there are some limits to the amount of time that we spend together. And then there are obviously differences, personality differences, and whether stuff like your flatmate leaves the toilet seat on top, or they close the toilet seat, or they forget to close the shower door, or they forget their towel in the toilet, or they keep something that you don't like in the toilet. So, apart from these problems, apart from these tiny things, I think one thing that you must know is that one thing that you must be aware of is that it might seem for some of you, because it seemed to me, I'm not sure if it's the same for you, but because I was so shy and because I was so introverted, I felt that these are the people that I can interact with and these are the people that I think are my family. But, at times I felt that that wasn't the case. So I would suggest that don't, don't expect a lot out of your flatmates. Don't expect a lot out of the people that you're living with. Obviously, it may seem to you that, yeah, these guys are my friends, and it might seem to you that, oh well, they think the same. Let me tell you in plain words, you are on your own. When you're in the UK, when you're not living with a family, you are on your own. You have to deal with your own shit. There's no one who's going to help you. There's absolutely no one who's going to come to you and say, well, I can help you. Are you feeling okay? Are you feeling lonely? I would love to help you. I would love to spend some time with you. No one is going to do that. People are just going to look at you. They're going to say, oh, they are going to notice that you are sad, and then they are just going to leave. They're not going to do shit. So that is one of the most important things that I took about 6 or 8 months to realize, that people don't give a shit. And I would say to you that you're on your own. There's no one to help you. And the earlier you realize that, the better. And this is especially for people who are stepping out of their homes for the first time, whether you're an undergrad student, whether you're a postgrad student. It is a tough time for you, And don't rely on anyone. That is probably the biggest advice that I have for you in this particular episode. That don't rely on anyone else for anything, to give you emotional support, or to someone, or to become that one friend that you can talk to whenever you want to. That's not the case. Probably because all of you who are staying in the same flat are going through the same feelings, are experiencing the same emotions. So probably they are thinking what you are thinking as well. But in order to save you a heartbreak, because I had my heart broken because of this, because I felt that, hey, I mean, I sort of felt that I have these people who I live with, and I have these people who I meet on a daily basis. Not necessarily. I mean, I have these people who I live with, and I have these people who I meet with on a daily basis. But none of them gave a shit about me, and I expected them to, because I thought that because I said to myself, okay, they are a part of my family now. So in my mind, I'm thinking, well, they are my family, but in reality, they are not, because in their mind, I'm just someone that they're living with, or I'm just someone that they're working with, or I'm just someone that, they know, who is living in London and who's studying in a university, and that's it. So for them, I'm nothing apart from a person that they know and a person that they are living with. And because I had imagined them to be my family, I had more expectations, which eventually led me to feel really, really, really sad. So, in order to save you those feelings of sadness, I would say that you should write it down on a piece of paper and stick it up on your wall. You are on your own. You can write. You should write, I am on my own. There's no one to look after me, and you must look after yourself. Once you understand that, then it becomes very easy for you to kind of live, for you to kind of live and enjoy. Once you understand that, yes, I'm all by myself, and I'm all that I need for myself. That's it. I don't need anyone else. I don't need anyone to look after me. I can take care of myself, and I know how to deal with certain types of emotions. Obviously, if you're stepping out for the first time, and if you are shy and introverted, like I was, then there are going to be some emotions, there are going to be some feelings, there are going to be some experiences that you are going to feel, and that you are going to there are going to be some problems that you will not be able to anticipate for yourself, and you would probably wonder, how do I deal with this? Well, I would say that just try and understand yourself. Yeah, look, you have the time to spend time with yourself. That is one of the most important things. You are at that position where you can spend enough time with yourself. You can do the things that you want to. You can, go to places that you wanted to, and you can do experiments that you would have liked to do when you were living at home, with your father, mother, partner, whatever. But now that you're away, it is you have all the time and freedom, so you can do it. And obviously, there are going to be some things that you would not know about yourself, that it's going to take some time to understand. It's going to take some time for you to understand that there are some things that are beyond your control. Like the way I felt. I felt very shy, and I felt very weak. And it was something I wanted to change it. I wanted to change my introverted nature. But I could not. Because I did not accept myself the way I was at that time. I thought to myself, why can't I change? Why can't I be like that person? Why can't I be like you? Why can't I be like this person who is, who's very confident, who's very mature, who's very smart, who's very sharp, and who has all these pretty attractive females running around him. So I always thought to myself that, why can't I be that person? And that is what I think I did wrong. I wanted to be someone, but I wasn't willing to change myself. I just wanted to become that person. I just wanted to be that person. I did not want to become that person. That's one of favorite quotes from my friend. So, it is tough, I'd say, to accept yourself, to accept the way you are. But then that's what you have to do. So if you feel lonely, if you feel very, if you feel, if you have self-doubt, or if you are feeling, how can I deal with these problems? I don't know. I have never felt these kind of emotions before. It's completely okay. Don't stress yourself over things that you are feeling. Don't stress yourself over the emotions that are going through your body, are going through your mind, because they are natural. Like, they are going to come anyway. You can't really tell yourself, okay, stop thinking now. Stop thinking about this right now. You can't tell yourself. It doesn't work like that. It didn't work like that with me. I mean, if it can work for you, that's amazing. But it never did work for me. And that is something that I realized only after an year of living in the UK, that I must accept who I am. Not even an year. It must have taken me about 15 months to understand that. It was only in December last year that I started to understand that, hey, I have to accept myself first. I have to accept with all the imperfections that I have, and then probably I can think about moving to the next level, which is changing myself, because that's what I want. So it's important for you to accept those feelings of loneliness. It is important for you to accept the kinds of emotions that you're experiencing right now, because it is very, very natural for you, for you to feel like that. At the same time, it is a wonderful opportunity that you have at your hands. You must make the most of it. You should find some things to do for yourself. It necessarily does not have to be about academics. It does not necessarily have to be about meeting people. If you're a social person, then you can go out to as many events as you can. If they are still happening, if they are happening in some particular area, or you can go to the university and spend some time at the library and probably talk to people, if you want. Or you can go to what else? Where can you go? Yeah, you can look up events on Meetup and Couchsurfing and Internations, I think. So you can look up for events on a lot of these applications, and you can understand. Or you can even ask around at the Students' Union to meet new people if you're a social person. And if you're not a social person, if you don't want to meet people, it's completely fine. But just ensure that you have something to do. Just ensure that you have some time for yourself, and in that time you're doing something that you like. For instance, listen to music over a cup of coffee, or over a nice scotch, along with a nice little cigar or cigarette. Or you can even think of going to the places that you would like to explore in your city, for instance. I don't know, in London, for instance, you can go to Hyde Park, you can go to Oxford Circus, you can go to Leicester Square, walk around, you can go to a restaurant, you can, travel, and you can get good English breakfast somewhere in the center of the city. You can try some new types of desserts on Baker Street, although they're going to be expensive. Baker Street is a place that I would recommend you to go in London, if you're in London, because it's very nice. The houses are really, really beautiful. And so do something that makes you happy. Do something that, kind of gives you the feeling that, okay, well, I spent some good time with myself. It doesn't necessarily have to depend on other people. You don't have to depend on other people. You don't have to depend on your flatmates. If you want to go to Big Ben, if you want to, walk along the side of the River Thames, do it. Don't depend on anyone else. Do it by yourself. Let's take your favorite headphones, or listen to your music, listen to your favorite music, and do it without worrying about that you are alone. Start accepting the way you are, and start doing things on your own, because you are on your own. If you have friends who have come with you from India to the UK, well, it's great. Then you are in a very comfortable place. I didn't have any friends, and even if I met some people from India in the UK, in London, I never got along with them. I mean, I always maintained my distance, because we didn't share, we didn't share, and we didn't have anything in common. So, do things for yourself. That would be my first recommendation. And what else? Yeah, when it comes to part-time jobs, I would highly recommend that you keep looking for jobs. Look for something online. Look for freelancing jobs on Upwork, Fiverr, Freelancer, and look for these content writer, digital marketing, I don't know, customer care type of jobs online. You can find plenty of those things online. So look around, ask at your Students' Union, ask the people around you how they are figuring things out for themselves. I know that it must be a tough time if you don't have a part-time job and you have to support yourself. So look for something online. There are a ton of. I'm sure that there must be tons of jobs available online, and customer care jobs are, I think, a very good way to earn money while you're at home. And I'm sure there must be some openings around you or in a different city, so you can do it. You can also apply for jobs at places like Tesco, Sainsbury's. Although I wouldn't recommend. No, actually, I wouldn't recommend you to work at Tesco or Sainsbury's, because it is a very physically straining task to work at these supermarkets, and it's not good for students. I mean, you don't expect to work an 8-hour or 10-hour shift at these tasks where you have to stand for those 10 hours and then expect yourself to come back home and study. That is impossible, so I wouldn't recommend you to do it unless you really have to do it. Look for something online. I'm sure that you can find, a lot of jobs online. What else? Yeah, so keep looking, keep searching for jobs, keep searching for information online, and yeah, just enjoy the time. Don't question yourself. Don't question your decision of coming to the UK. That's the biggest mistake that you would make. Just stay there and enjoy your life. Enjoy the time that you have for yourself in the UK, and interact as much as you can. If you're not a social person, don't do it if you don't like it. But if you are, then if you are a social person like I was and I am, but you don't know how to interact because you're shy or you're introverted like I was, then it's a tough thing. Then you can take my help if you want. Feel free to drop me a text on Instagram or send me an email. I will also try and include my WhatsApp number in the description. If not from this podcast, probably from the next podcast, I will add my WhatsApp number as well. But you will always find my email address. You can always connect with me on my Instagram handle. It's Avyan01, so it's AVYANN01. I'll also type it in the description. What else? I think that's about it for today. I know that this was a very not a very organized way to host or to do a podcast. I have been very very busy with other things, so that's why I've not been able to kind of sit down and decide, okay, these are the topics, and that's how the conversation would flow. That's how I will talk about different topics, sequentially. So I'm sorry if it doesn't come off as a very sequential or as a very organized podcast, but I'll try to make it as organized and as sequential and as informational as I can, by also sharing any piece of advice and by also telling you what I did, what I felt when I was in your place 2 years ago. It's you're blessed, I would say, because you have moved to the UK when and the graduate route has been launched, and you have the option of staying in the UK. I love London. It's my home. It's like my home, although I have been through some really bad experiences in London, but it is my home. And I wanted to continue living in the UK, but because the graduate route did not apply to me, I couldn't, and so I had to leave. And I went to Singapore after the UK, but then that's a completely different story. So good luck with your life. Good luck with the things that are about to come ahead. Stay productive, stay engaged, keep yourselves engaged. Don't just sit around and cry, and don't feel sad or don't feel bad that you can't do anything. And if you need, I'm always here. I wouldn't mind helping few of you who are very upset, or who are probably thinking, or who are probably in an identity crisis or in a self-doubt situation right now. You're thinking whether you made the right decision or whether you should continue doing this. I'm here for you people, because I remember in 2018 I didn't have no one. I was all by myself, and I had to deal with my problems by myself. So I had no one to even talk to me. I had no one to even share my things with, or I had no, because the kind of experiences that you're going through, you might not want to share them with your family because they wouldn't understand. There are some things that you can only tell a person who has been through that situation, or who is probably going through that situation with you. So, no, I had no one. I didn't have the Out From India podcast then that I could, listen to and understand. And I didn't have an Avyan for me who I could drop a message on Instagram and say, hey, I would love to talk to you for a few minutes. I just want to share something. And so it was, I didn't have anyone, but this is sort of what I felt. I felt that pain. I felt that sadness when I was in that position. And I wouldn't like that everyone who goes to the UK from India to go through the same. So you can talk to me. You can, I don't know, we can talk for about 20 minutes for free about anything that you want to talk about. We can share our experiences. I can tell you about mine, and you can tell me about yours, and you can ask me for help. And if I can, I would love to help you. I'm not saying that I'm a counselor. I'm not saying that I'm very good at solving people's problems, but there are some things that I would know, and there are some things that I would be able to guide you through, there are some things that I would be able to guide you through, and you might not be able to find a solution to those problems by yourself. So for that, you have Out From India, you have the Out From India podcast, you have Avyan, and that is it. I think I should conclude the podcast. I'm not even sure how long it is. I think it must be 15 minutes or 35 minutes or 40 minutes. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. I'm trying to get this podcast on Spotify as well. I haven't really figured out how to put it on Spotify, but I plan to do it in the coming weeks. And today is a Wednesday, 28th October. The next episode will come on Sunday, which is, I don't know the date, but anyway. So I'll see you Sunday of this week with, probably on Sunday I'm going to be a bit more organized. But anyway, I hope you found this podcast useful. If you did, leave a thumbs up. That really supports me. And good luck with your things. And if you need help, you can reach out to me, or you can reach out to a friend, or you can reach out to anyone. Just don't think that. Just don't stress yourself too much about anything. Just enjoy. Take it easy. I know it sounds easier than it actually is, but that's my advice to you. Like, don't stress too much. And if you're stressing too much, talk to someone. There is always a solution to any problem in the world. Okay, I'm going to stop talking now because it's been quite some time, and I think I should. So anyway, thank you very much, and I will see you soon. Bye.